I oftentimes think that I'm making the definition of what is a target harder than it actually is, but this is mainly because of my conversations with other playing professionals where we all have different views of what a target actually is. Some people consider it their start line, some body lines. I have to think of the center of your shot pattern. If you were to hit a million golf shots, the center of that shot pattern is what I consider to be your target. And the reason that I think that this gets a little bit confusing sometimes is that more experienced players, like the ones I'm mentioning that I've had this discussion with, we don't really realize how many things we've just internalized. It has truly just become subconscious, and we don't even think about it. And that's honestly where my seminar first started. It was about 40 slides long the first time that I gave it, and it's now almost 180 slides because every time that a question came up, I was like, that was a pretty good question. I can't believe I didn't think to answer that, but each time I knew the answer, I just didn't even think of it as being a possible question. Again, the real goal of Decade is to show you the things that 40-year-old playing professionals really just know, and we're trying to get that information into you at a much younger age, which again is why I called the program Decades. We're going to shave decades off of your learning curve. So let's take a look at targets. Maybe you notice that the A in Decade is actually a target that's kind of more towards the center than the actual flagstick is in the D. And the thing that's really difficult, for some reason, people think of aim in golf as being more of their body lines or start line than they do the actual center of their shot pattern. But I think that we can all agree that the center of this target is where you are trying to get your bullet or arrow or dart or whatever it is you're hurling at this target to go. But for some reason in golf, when I give you a Decade target, people get confused by that. And so once we start talking about actual approach shot or tee shot strategy, when I give you a target, that is where I want the center of your shot pattern to go. Imagine if I said aim at this target. You would know exactly what that means. Now, the difference in golf is we actually shape our shots. Again, some people have body lines that are open to the target, close to the target, all kinds of stuff. But what I need you to know is if you hit a million shots, the target should be the center of those shots. So as an example, even though this is a very good looking shot pattern, it is centered right of what our actual target was when we were hitting the shots. We were trying to hit these shots here, but the shots on average finished here. And like I say sometimes, I feel like I'm making this more difficult than it actually is, but this question comes up all the time, so it actually can't be that difficult. People will say, I tend to hit the ball right of my target, so should I adjust for that? I don't think there's any chance in the world, if my shot pattern looked like this while throwing darts, that I would ask the question, should I adjust? It seems like I'm throwing everything right. But for some reason in golf, and I really do believe it's because people think of their body lines as their aim, they get totally thrown off by this. I simply need you to be able to center your shot pattern over a target on the driving range, and then on the golf course, once we start giving you targets, to be able to also center your shot pattern over that target. Now, all of this may or may not be making sense, but again, that's the reason that I've created this Foundations product, is because I realized I just jumped straight into teaching targets and everything in the Elite version, and a lot of this that, honestly, I can't decide if it seems like common sense or it seems like something that you should just know, but explaining and understanding what all of this means is what I feel like is typically what's lost in translation or in communication by trying to teach this in video format versus being out on the golf course. Coming back to this shot pattern, this is Aaron Wise in December of 2018 when he was the reigning PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, and he was aiming at this center of the shot pattern 187 yards away, and these shots here were 16 yards left. These shots here were about 13 yards right. His shot pattern with a 7-iron was just under 30 yards wide. The overhead of the hole that we're looking at here is number 18 at Muirfield Village, and I can, in Google Earth, draw a line, and then I can bring this in right here to show you that line is 27 yards wide. That is basically the exact width of Aaron Wise's shot pattern in practice. So what I'm trying to imply with this image right here is that here's the hole location, and here's the center of your shot pattern. And what's interesting is I can just kind of drag this over to a right side pin, a front pin, a back pin. As you can see, shot patterns really are so big. I'm not going to say you can aim it almost anywhere and get away with it, but from outside a certain distance, you pretty much can. Using images like this are really what I feel like helps drive these ideas home. So now all I've done is duplicated that ellipse that's centered over this target with the hole in the left side of the green. And now I'm going to say, let's get more aggressive. Well, obviously, I'm going to take this center of my shot pattern and move it closer to the hole, but it's pretty obvious how quickly you start to hit too many shots into short-sighted and bad situations. Now trust me, I know I'm beating this point to death, but it's really one of the most important things that I think you can take away from this Foundations content is the centering of your shot pattern. I'm even laughing at myself now, over your target. So on the driving range, this is my target. I have shots that are both left and right of it. And then when I actually play golf, this is my target, and I have shots left and right of it, long and short of it. This target is this target. And one last huge key in all of this is keep in mind, we haven't even discussed shape. You really don't know if Aaron was drawing or fading these shots, do you? No, you don't. So I really, again, don't feel like shape even matters because this left side of my shot pattern, let's pretend he was fading it. The left side of my shot pattern is really just the hot pulls or even the slight double crosses. So without even trying to work the ball that direction, your left side of your shot pattern actually kind of accomplishes that for you anyways. Same thing if you're drawing and the shot pin is on the right. These shots right here were just the ones that you slightly left the face a little more open to your path. Again, all this is assuming you're a right-handed golfer. You left your face a little more open. These are just blocks. It really doesn't matter once you start getting, to an 8-iron or longer, because the center of your green, again, depending on the size of the green, becomes your target quite often. And even sometimes if there's an adjacent hazard, a water hazard, you might even be aiming right of the center of the green. Next month, we'll really start dialing in and actually talking about how we pick these approach shot targets. But I really need you to be very functional and very literate. We're trying to get your golf IQ moving upward through these first couple months. And I just want you, again, out there practicing and playing golf and just kind of noticing and learning how you see targets and how you think of these things just intuitively, what you do currently. And then we're going to start giving you the targets, the actual mathematically correct targets for your approach shots, for you then to apply all of this foundational work to.